Hello everyone. Today I am going to be reviewing the new Halo TV show. And this is going to be a review of the first episode. Before I begin, I would like to say that this is just my opinion, and I know that not everyone is going to agree with my opinion. But that's okay, because I think that everyone deserves to have their own opinion. I would also like to say that the Halo show will not take place in the timeline of the video games and instead uses a newly formed silver timeline. Despite this, the show is still rooted in canon. The Halo Silver timeline isn't officially canon within the Halo universe, but it will coexist alongside and potentially add to the franchise main timeline. I also want to say that there will be spoilers throughout this video. Last but not least, I want to say that overall, I thought that the TV show was good, although it could have been better. Now, I am going to talk about some of the things that I liked about the TV show. Number one, it will be the actors. I thought that they did a great job while filming the first episode, and I hope that they continue to do a good job while filming the rest of the episodes. Number two, I like the fact that there is a lot of action from the beginning of the show all the way to the end. Number three, the CGI. I thought that the CGI was good, although it could have been better for the amount of money that they spent to make the show. Another thing that I like was the ability to see the following locations: Madrigal, Reach, and High Charity. I thought that it was interesting to see how different the outer colonies are from the inner UNSC colonies. You can see the difference in technology and topography. I thought that it was cool to see what the insurrectionists think about the Spartans, the UNSC, and their propaganda. I also thought it was interesting seeing the insurrectionists' reaction when the Spartans came to their help, because a lot of them did not believe in the Spartans, and at least one of them was fearful of them. I also like the sound effects. For example, there is a moment when Master Chief is being shot at and he has to hide in order for his suit to recharge. And whenever the suit is being recharged, it makes a sound that is very similar to the one that you can hear in the games. Also, there is a moment when an elite is running away from the Spartans, and as he is running away, he puts on camo. And again, whenever you hear the sound that they make, it sounds very similar to the one that they put on the video games. One more thing that I liked was whenever Kwan Ha and Miranda Keys met. It was interesting to see the interaction between both of them because you get to see what may happen whenever a UNSC official meets an insurrectionist. And that's something that you don't really see during the games. Another thing that I liked was the moment when the Prophet of Mercy told Maki that Master Chief could bring the artifact that they wanted to retrieve back to life, just like her. Hopefully, we will be able to see this plot develop in the following episodes. Another thing that I liked was whenever Maki appears in the show, she's reading a book, and you can see that the Prophet of Mercy is interested in Maki reading human stories from that book to him so he can learn about his enemies. Again, hopefully, we will be able to see this plot develop in the following episodes. Now, for those of you that don't know who Maki is, Maki is a young woman who, having been orphaned as a child, was raised by members of the Covenant. Another thing that I liked was the moment when Master Chief is flying the Condor and he makes a joke to Quan Ha about eating bolts and microchips. He made that joke because Quan Ha was hungry and she asked him if he wanted to eat something, and he made that joke, so it was pretty funny. Another thing that I like is seeing the amount of soldiers that they need whenever a Spartan goes berserk and it doesn't want to obey their orders. One more thing that I liked was the fact that in the show they're trying to portray Master Chief not just as a soldier but also as a human being. So in the show, you see him take his helmet off, which is something that you don't really see during the games. And they also show him as someone that is breaking some of the rules. And I think that this plot could be great if they really decide to do something good with it, but it's also something that could go horribly wrong because during the games, that idea didn't really work out really well. And that's mostly because they didn't really know what to do with that. So hopefully they can develop a strong plot whenever it comes to Master Chief going rogue. And hopefully we will be able to see something good out of that. Okay, so I have told you about some of the things that I liked. Now I am going to talk about some of the things that I didn't like. Number one, I thought that the show not being accurate with Halo lore is something that it really doesn't help because in the end, it may just end up being another sci fi show instead of a sci fi show that is about Halo. I think that it is too early to decide whether or not the show will be a good show or a bad show, but if they concentrate on not just sprinkling things about Halo on the show, but actually putting things on the show based not just in the games, but in the books and in the lore, then that could definitely help the show to become even better. And again, some of the things that they're trying, like uh, Master Chief going rogue, that may be something that could work if they know how to handle that. And showing new characters like Maki to the audience, that may be something that may work again if they know what to do with those things. So, another thing that I didn't like was the pacing of the whole show because the show spent too much time on Madrigal, then it moves to Reach for a short time. Then they move to High Charity for an even shorter amount of time. And then they go back to Master Chief and Quan Ha in the Condor. One more thing that I didn't like was the CGI. I know I said that I liked it, but I also didn't like it because they spent so much money to make this show, and sometimes it looks like they didn't really spend that much on the CGI. There are certain parts where you can tell that the CGI was not good. For example, there is a moment when Master Chief jumps and it just doesn't look realistic at all. Also, some of the weapons don't look real. There is a moment when Master Chief drops a weapon and the weapon really doesn't look that developed. And there is another moment when Master Chief is holding a weapon and that weapon looks more realistic. Another thing that I didn't like was the lead's armor because it looked weird. Another thing that I didn't like was the fact that the honor guards of the Covenant looked exactly the same as the leads shown previously. Okay, everyone, this has been my review of the first episode of the Halo TV show or series. Overall, I thought that the show was okay. Again, I think that it's too early to tell whether or not the show will be a great show or it will be a horrible show because they only made a few episodes and I need to watch more of them to decide whether or not I would like to watch more or I don't want to watch that show anymore. Again, there are some good things and there are some bad things. I think that that's normal with every show that there is in the planet. But overall, I would say that it was alright. Let me know whatever you thought about the first episode of the Halo TV show in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. Have a wonderful day.